Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is an hour in the morning, I'm not sure what, and it is Monday, but I want to make some portable watercolor containers today. I have collected a plethora of small and seemingly useful items from around my house, and we're gonna see what we can make out of them. I've watched a few tutorials. I have collected a fair amount of Lego bricks because I've heard that those are good to fill with watercolors and put in these little tins. But yeah, I got some sponges, some little containers, some watercolors, and we're gonna see what we can make. Cheers. Oh, that's hot. So I started off by drilling out the middle part of the Lego bricks. It was surprisingly easy to drill it out, but it was a little messy, so I had to go in there with an X-Acto knife and clean it up. But it didn't take too long, so we were soon back at the desk. Alrighty, so I have drilled out the insides of those Legos, and I have enough here for this one, and I'm hoping to fit some, maybe a mini paintbrush or something in there, a piece of a sponge. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do the setup. And I do have this travel watercolor kit, but I have two issues with it. One is that I didn't choose the colors that are in it. As we can see, they're quite bright. I mean, I will use it eventually, but I want to like make my own palette. And another is, it's not a Bob Ross tin. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's nice, but look at this guy. So the next step was to fill all the Lego bricks with watercolors. So I did have some tube watercolor sets sitting around. I've never actually used them before because I prefer pan watercolors, but I brought them out and I got to mixing. But I was wondering, what type of color palette would a plein air painter use? I've never done plein air painting, and my watercolor set that I have at home has more colors than I ever need. So I did some research, went onto the internet, and I searched up what is a good plein air painting palette, and the majority of the websites I went to said that it's good to have a warm tone of all the primary colors and a cool tone of all the primary colors, and this way you can mix the secondary colors, and you can get a chromatic brown by mixing them all together, and you can get a warm version of all the colors and a cool version of all the colors since you have those variations of the primary colors. So I did that. Thankfully, my sets did have all the watercolors that I needed, and it also recommended having a black and a white in the set. So that's what I did for the big tin, but coming to the little tin, I was like, I don't want just primary colors, so I searched up some minimalist watercolor palettes, and I found a really nice one that was phthalo blue, yellow ochre, and burnt sienna, and I really like how that one turned out. I also added white. That was the tiny tin. And then for the other one, when I was trying to mix yellow ochre, I accidentally made green because I added the wrong colors. So that one went in the medium tin, and then I also just got some other colors, but I didn't end up filling all of them right now. I go back and fill them later. So after I had filled all the Legos with watercolor, then I was trying to figure out a way that I could organize the layout within the little tins here. So I was gonna put a piece of sponge in the tin just to be a place to wipe your brush or something, but I ended up finding out that it works really well if you like squish it in there, and then it holds the Legos in place. So instead of using magnets or tape or anything to stick the Legos to the bottom, I just cut strips of sponge to shove in the sides, and it worked really well. And then for the larger tin, I began working on making some mini pencils and mini paintbrushes, though I touch on this later, but I don't think I will be using them very much, as I'll bring a pencil case whenever I actually go plein air painting. Alrighty, so it is now later on this very same Monday, and I have finished mixing my paints. So here's just some of the swatching I did with these colors. I am going to wait till they dry, and then I'm going to take them out onto the field tomorrow. Okay, so it is morning on day 2, and the paints have dried a little bit, and we're gonna swatch them, and then probably head out to a park and do some painting. So let's do that. So for swatching, I cut some watercolor paper to the size of the top lid of each of the tins, so that if I ever just take this and a watercolor brush, I can do a little painting on those papers. And then I did the swatches of the colors on those papers. I tried to mix them so I could get the range of colors that I could achieve with each set, which was fun, and I just really like the littlest one. It's so cute. So we finished up swatching, the sun came out, it's warming up, and here's what we got. Honestly, not feeling the cool and warm primary color combos, but maybe that's just because I don't know how to use them. And then we got these middle ones. I'm thinking that one would be more for like doing portraits because they got a skin tone in there, not sure. And I really like the last one there, it looks really cute. So we'll see what we do. It is winter, there's snow, so I'll probably be using the big one most of the time. But I'll bring the big one and the littlest one just in case. And bring some hot chocolate, and we'll see what we do. Alrighty, so I do actually head out and do some plein air painting, but that's going to be in the next video because this one would have been super long if I put it all in one video. So I'm going to end it off with just an overview of what we made in this video and what else you could add onto your plein air painting set, just to spice it up a little bit. And then if you want to come back next week, I will have another video of me actually testing them out, and I'll show you what I made with them. It was super fun. They work great. I hope you make your own. Let me know what you think. Okay, so here are my palettes that I have made. So I have taken them out for some field testing, but I just want to show you guys what I did here and show you some other options. So I did end up just wedging the Legos in with pieces of a sponge that I cut. That way I can switch them out. I didn't have to glue them down or use magnets or anything, and also you can use the sponge. I did cut a little pencil here and some little paint brushes. And this kneadable eraser is for erasing, but honestly more so just when I'm drawing, when I'm plein air painting, if I need to stick anything down, whether that be my water container or just something to stick stuff to, because that's useful, more useful than I would have thought. The things that I found really crucial are bulldog clips. These ones are a little excessively large, but this one is really good. Bulldog clips and magnets, and this is something I got from another tutorial, but when I was out plein air painting, so here's one that I was just doing. So I would take my bulldog clip, I'd clip it. Thankfully it did fit over my entire sketchbook. Just clip it there, and then I would take these magnets that I got. I don't know, they're just little square magnets, and then boom, just stick it on there. You have your little mixing pan. You can also use the side. And I mean, it's sturdy. The sponge makes it so that they don't fall out that way. It's really great. It also works for the bigger one. You just gotta spread out the magnets a little bit more. It's not gonna fall. It might move around, but it won't fall. Another thing that I found with these square magnets, that if I did want to just take this, like I said, with the little papers, you could put magnets so that they sit there, and then there's the swatch button, and then it holds it up, and then it's almost like a little easel. You can like start drawing your little picture there. So there's that. I haven't tried that in the field, but I think it would work pretty nicely. So basically you want yourself some bulldog clips, you want yourself some magnets. You can find workarounds for these. So I have my multiple sizes of portable watercolor things. I also brought this little glass container of water just because I bring water brushes. That's the brush I use, because then I don't have to have this. I can just paint with a brush, but this is just to clean it. And also if I'm doing larger watercolor washes. Some other containers that you could use. This is just a screen cleaner container that I thought would be really handy. It just doesn't look as pretty as a nice little glass jar, but this way you could, if you didn't have a water brush, you could use your watercolor brush water in here, and then you could pour some of the water in here to clean your brushes, or vice versa. It also has a spritz cap, so if you wanted to moisten your watercolor pans before you got to work, you could do that. Sponges are really handy for wiping away excess water, just dabbing your brush in there, cleaning it off. Also little spritz bottles like that, if you want to just spritz your watercolors, then they're already moistened and you can just have at her. Here's a metal water container. It's a little too big, but if you found a smaller one, then you could also stick it with the same bulldog clip theory to your sketchbook. If you want to get a little pack of pencil crayons to keep with your plein air painting, watercolor pencils, the possibilities are endless. So if you want to watch the next video and see how I use these, I end up just bringing these two because this one, I wasn't as happy with the color palette as I previously stated, and I felt it was a little excessive to bring 3. So I just brought these two, my bulldog clip, this, and in my pencil case, I had some pencils and stuff, and my watercolor water brushes. So these are really fantastic. I use them all the time. They're great. They're portable. I don't think I would ever go plein air painting without them just because they're so simple and they make your life a lot easier. So with that, I hope you follow along and make your own watercolor palettes. It was super fun, and I think I'll be using these for years to come. They're a whole lot more portable than my watercolors I use here at home, which are quite large. So if I can bring this instead of this big green thing, I'll bring this. Plus, it's a Bob Ross mince tin. What's not to love? Anyway, if you have any questions about anything I did, any like watercolor mixing or palettes or anything, you can toss them in the comments. Any video ideas, anything you want to see me try to plein air paint. I'm pretty new to this thing, but it seems like fun, and I would love to get into it more and try my hand at it. But with that, here's our palettes. Here's some of the stuff that we could bring, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.